if we have difficulty to feel, if we have difficulty to express our feelings, then it's because something is blocked. And basically, I think we have to say then, no, the heart connection is blocked. And why is it blocked? Usually self-defense. There were some things going on too hard for us to deal with emotionally, so we've built up like a wall to protect ourselves from that and not allow anything to touch our deeper feelings. No? But that also means that we become unaware of them or less aware of them and have difficulty expressing them. So yeah, that is a situation in which we need to work to slowly again open up the heart. And okay, easier said than done, honestly. It's probably something which requires a process which involves many things. Like, okay, some healing may be involved, some relearning may be involved, and as with most problems, some evolution is involved. And I think that is the main thing. Whatever, let's say, help you can get along the way, that is good and we should use it. But it is also an evolution. It is pushing you. How long can you be like this? This, not a good feeling. Anyhow, that is what you feel. No? When people say they feel numb, doesn't feel good. No? And so that will push them to evolve. To evolve in, basically a different identification. The old person who was there has to become a new person. But a new person who is less afraid of getting hurt. Because it is less attached. Always when we are hurt in our attachments. When we are attached to some idea that we are, I don't know, good looking, and somebody says, no, I don't think you're good looking at all, then we feel hurt, right? So that is where we can change. That is where we can evolve, to let go of these attachments where we can be hurt. And of course, that comes in so many ways. I mean, thousands, millions of attachments are possible, so we have to find in ourselves these things, where can we still be hurt? And try to let go of that identification. But we've talked about it also before. What I'm saying now sounds like something very rational, like as if we have to just change our thinking about it and, problem gone. But that is not the truth. This attachment is a feeling. This hurt is a feeling. So we have to change our feeling towards it. And okay, it's a long process and different things will be there, different things you will find inside yourself where you feel particularly easily hurt. And a lot of that usually has to do with self-image. With confidence about yourself or with lack of confidence about yourself. And then if somebody sees that and starts twisting that, starts digging into that, starts hurting that, then you'll feel bad. So then, nothing else can be done actually, essentially, than letting go of that kind of attachment. And self-confidence, it comes back in so many talks here because it is, in a way, the main thing. Now, when we talk about the yoga philosophy, who are we talking about? The ego. That always comes forward as the problem. And why is there an ego? because of fear, because of lack of self-confidence. So then when we are confronted with that, let's say in a way that is a bit over the top or different like than the average public, and we really struggle with that so much, that is what is pushing us to go further and change that identification. But thinking is only a small part of that. The main part is doing. And doing means practice. And then practice means to experience yourself as independent from all these attachments. To experience yourself as the divine self, as unlimited potential. And once you are there, then very hard to hurt you, because you're not holding anything. You cannot lose anything because you're not holding anything. Now you can say when somebody hurts you, they take something away from you. Something to which you are attached, something which you love. Whether it's, your rabbit, or whether it is a particular idea about yourself. That is where you can be hurt, by taking that away from you. But let's say you have a great rabbit, and he's your best friend, and you really love the creature, but still something can happen that takes it away from you. That pushes you to really look at yourself and at this rabbit in a very different way. And see that while this relationship, this attachment, let's say, is also beautiful, it is a love, that's why we are here, that at the same time, you are nobody special, this rabbit is nobody special, we're all the same. And that, if somehow or other that rabbit, you have to let it go. With rabbits, usually it happens because they don't live as long, no? So 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, you have to let it go. And okay, some hurt is unavoidable, but it can be avoided to be too much like hurt by that, by knowing that whatever is there between you and that rabbit is beautiful, but an illusion. Because, well, you could have that same love with any other rabbit. and when then we exchange the rabbit for an idea that you have about yourself, let's say, of being beautiful, and that can be also exchanged, if then that beauty maybe a little bit goes in older age, and you feel you can no longer like hold that up as something to hold on to, then there may be another beauty in you which is still there, which is actually still very much growing, to which you can a little bit attach. So part of it is to really try to meditate and find the self and have your primary identification with that pure beingness, which is anyhow without properties, so nothing can be taken away. And then in whatever natural attachments and loves are still there, to be there in detached attachment, meaning to love, yes, to exchange, yes, to attach to some degree, yes, but at the same time always also see the truth. And the real truths, if we look at the manifested world, are not the people that we love because they are maybe generous, because they are maybe such great artists, or because they are maybe always ready to defend another, or whatever property they have there. It is those properties which are the only thing that you can say in the manifested universe have some kind of reality, and then in India they call them deities. And so that was also for me, for example, a very big step when Harish Johari left his body. That after quite a bit of crying and, getting over that, I realized that what I was missing was not this person. What I was missing was his wisdom, his great ability to laugh at things, and, his generosity. And that these are things that are always there in the universe, because they directly come from the self. And so then, no, our identification changes, both in the sense of becoming, let's say, without form, the formless, the pure, where nothing can be touched, the white screen which always stays white, but also then in the form, to see always the essence of that which we love. Whether it is in another person or a rabbit, or whether it is in ourselves as a person, as an individual, in the qualities that we have. This is always there. Let's say, you are a great musician, you are a great guitar player. And okay, naturally you are attached to that. But then you get into some kind of accident and you use all these fingers. Yeah, it's tough, I'm sure. But if your attachment to you being a very good guitar player is mostly your attachment to you being good at music, then if you use these fingers, you still have a way out. You still can take some other instrument which only requires one hand, or you can sing, or you can do whatever, with that most essential quality of being able to bring out beautiful music, which never goes, which you will take even with you to next life. So I think there are the most essential answers to your question. But of course, no, you may need help on the way also. You've been hurt and it takes time, and those walls, they are thick and they don't disappear, so easily. And they even might make it difficult, for example, to meditate also. Because they bring distraction. Something is bottled up, something is, caged, and it creates a noise and an unrest, and that makes it also hard to meditate. So anyhow, the way forward is step by step. Slowly, that wall will come down. And you will truly rediscover yourself, but in a different way, and there have that love for yourself and that confidence and that ability also to feel and get hurt, no? Because that also is important. A little hurt, it doesn't hurt, no? A little hurt is natural. If that rabbit dies of old age, some sadness, you take it, no? You're willing to take it. You had so much fun for 7 years or 5 years or however long it lived, and then okay, you accept a little bit of sadness coming afterwards, and slowly then disappearing and making room for something new.